Being able to save others. It really is a challenge for many of us to feel how much we love someone and want to save them. So that's the subject we're going to talk about today, Tom.
Sounds good.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So we just had Father's Day here in America, and I felt it was a good time to kind of tune into some of the people that are around us, like mothers, fathers, children, grandchildren, that we love so much that we want to save them.
That's true.
Do you feel that too, Tom?
At times.
I have too. And so for myself, I've had many times throughout my life where, well, the first experience, or one of the first experiences with my father, passed away when I was 24. Then I had my brother pass away when he was when I was in my 40s, late 40s. So I've had some really close people around me that, even if I didn't understand at that time about the spiritual aspect of wanting to save people, I'm sure I wanted to, because I didn't want them to leave. I loved them a lot, and they went through a lot of different things in their life that obviously brought them forth to leave in early. Have you had anything like this in your life, Tom?
I haven't, for a long time. Not too many people in my family passed on, although I did lose a cousin when I was in my 20s who was we thought he was he was kind of a favorite guy, gift of the gab, and very likable, kind of a thing. So now that you're bringing that up, but yeah, I think for saving, for me, it's in other areas of life, like wanting to save people from their missteps or mishaps and sicknesses and things like that.
Right. And that's a whole other thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So I thought I would take a moment and read a little bit out of my book, The Soulquake Survival Guide, Reviving Your Connection to Spirit, which I just celebrated 3 years of it coming out. So it's been a couple years. So I wanted to share a little bit about seeing through the eyes of the eagle medicine, which is actually chapter 6, awareness number 4, which is called Rising Above, Gaining a Higher Perspective.
Well, that's very appropriate because we're in the month of June and the key word is altitude.
Oh, snap-a-doodle. I love when it all comes together.
Yeah.
And that is spirit, because I didn't go, hey, let me put this and that together, but I love it so much. So I'm going to do a little bit of reading from the book, and then we'll share a little bit about it. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Anytime I lose perspective and get weighed down by fear and confusion, I call on what indigenous people speak of as eagle medicine. With their wings wide open, the majestic eagle soars high above the ground. Able to see from its vantage point what we cannot see, we are right in the middle of a situation on the ground. It's not just that the eagle can see miles beyond us in every direction. The eagle sees the bigger spiritual picture of every situation. For my younger self, eagle medicine would have given me the much-needed comfort and peace of seeing that my father's death wasn't as final as it understandably appeared to me through my human eyes. When my dad passed, I was 24 and didn't have a clear spiritual understanding of what was going on. After spending days in the hospital, along with the support of several family members, there was a change in his breathing pattern. We all prayed together over his bed and shared stories of our times with him. We sensed that he was in the final moments of his life and having this time together, where our focus was entirely on my dad and what he meant to each of us, was healing for everyone, I believe. Eventually, we all needed to go home to get some rest. I tossed and turned, needing sleep, but feeling a deep ache in my heart. I eventually fell asleep, and in the middle of the night, I found myself hovering above my father's body in the corner of the hospital room as he took his last breaths and feeling the presence of the great force of love that held him. The next morning, we found out that Dad had, in fact, passed away in the very early morning hours. The out-of-body experience I had was the first time anything like that had ever happened to me. And, much to my surprise at the time, it didn't frighten me. I later came to understand that this was an eagle medicine experience. It came as a gift, offering me both a higher perspective of my dad's passing and a private, profound experience of his last moments. This gift brought me more peace and comfort than I can fully express. 2 years after my father's passing, I became pregnant with my first child. Prior to finding out what sex the baby was, my father visited me in a dream. He came to me holding a baby in his arms and told me that it was a baby girl. Her name is Marie, he said. Sure enough, our baby was a girl, and Marie became her middle name. As the Earth's crust shifts and changes, our lives do the same. One way to maneuver through the small and large moments that shake us to the core is by reviving your connection to spirit, gathering ways to cleanse your energy field, embracing spiritual awarenesses to give you a bigger picture, and knowing that you are not alone on your journey can be a great support. The Soulquake Survival Guidebook is a great companion to meet you where you're at and support reviving your connection to spirit in earth-shaking times. Get your copy today through Amazon Worldwide in paperback, ebook, or in audio, and begin embracing more clarity, inner peace, and enthusiasm for your life and what you've come to do. So that experience, like many that I do share in this book, along with other spiritual awarenesses and bigger picture knowledge around who we are as the unseen parts of us, it felt important to share today in the regards to wanting to save others and yet having all the backing of spirit to come in to give us that support as we move through these moments in time, especially for people and for us too, that when we don't fully understand what's really going on. Does that make sense, Tom?
Of course.
And what do you want to, would you like to share about all that?
What strikes me is how the term eagle medicine, obviously from American Indians or indigenous peoples, that all these aspects of spirituality, the experiences that people have, like out-of-body experiences or picking up messages in dreams, has been around for eons. And we speak about it, like it's everyday occurrence. So, today we don't put a label, at least in our household, of eagle medicine, but that's how you first got exposed to it. And yet it's a perfect way to describe getting that bigger picture, like the eagle has. So the eagle is a great symbol of, flying high so that you can see the whole perspective, of your life's direction and what's going on. So spiritually, you got a bigger picture. And I find it interesting that, your soul, your energy naturally, where your state of consciousness was that it showed up to back his passing, back his transition. Because as we know, there is no death, it's just transition.
Absolutely. And the interesting part for myself is that whenever I started working on the book, I was guided to the eagle medicine. And so as you're talking about eagle medicine, I also think about like our team of spiritual support that we have behind us, the guides, the master souls that are guiding us our whole life. And we oftentimes say that it is like they are above us hovering and they can see kind of what's coming to give us that guidance and to really back the situations depending upon what our choices of which way to go with different situations. But that's what comes to me too, is not only obviously that I have that perspective later when I was, writing the book, a couple decades later, but the fact that throughout all of this, I've had the spiritual support of my personal team of spiritual helpers.
Yeah. And you were talking this morning in the green room about, that saving vibration and wanting to save people from their experiences. And one of the things that strikes me is that we have that opportunity to back people spiritually. So I replace this idea of saving them from their, experiences and what they've chosen to go through. Because when it comes to transition, you really can't, you can only do so much, right? The soul's going to transition.
It's their
transition.
Yeah, it's their journey.
And however, I always have the opportunity. Again, I'll say I replace saving with just backing somebody spiritually. And in fact, sometimes it's important that people do hit the brick wall, that they do sort of go through their not so good experience, or so they learn, from that opportunity and get it over with, not to postpone the learning experience, but they keep getting saved. They have to recreate that situation again, to pass on again. So if I'm struggling, with, oh gosh, I want to save this person from, I can see the train wreck coming, you can always communicate, but, you watch them go down the path and boy, they consistently do it. I think I'll replace that with just asking my guidance, how can I back them more from a spiritual point of view, And in fact, your book talks about cleansing and healing techniques that you can work with your guidance and how to establish, a communication with your guidance. Start practicing that or become aware of when your spiritual helpers come around so that you can get clues and, pick up impressions as to how to best work with people.
Yeah, it's interesting because as you say that, saving, having to try to save somebody or being a savior, or it comes back to me like that religious training and that religious overtone that most of the Western culture has within us, right? Like I want to save someone. I want to pray for them. And I know that for myself, I've shared over the last couple of years about the importance of not creating an energy bridge with people whenever you're praying for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And so recognizing, like you're saying, like, Spirit, how can I support and back this person? Not how can I create an energetic bridge where I feel and I am experiencing or I'm interacting with energy wise what they're going through.
Yeah, what strikes me is it's really feeling that inner respect for whatever a soul's journey is, and just allowing them to have that journey and knowing when to move in and when to move out. I'm all for helping people and lending a helping hand or giving a leg up. But when I have their permission, I never send healing energy unless I check with my guidance and I have that person's permission, to send that healing energy. And then we work with the cleansing technique, which Teresa shares about in her book, where, you can open the energy for that. You can send your healing energy, and then you can close through a personal cleansing technique so you're clean and clear with it. And then you release that energy for whatever that soul needs to go through.
Whether you are a brand new or returning fan of this podcast, we appreciate you. We appreciate you listening to the episodes that we create every single week. If you would love to support us by continually creating great content every week, please consider liking, subscribing, and supporting us monthly. You can find the buttons below to do all the above. Cheers to you and moving into our 6th year of sharing through podcasting. Yeah, I think to me that seems to be such a respectful way to work soul to soul. And I know that's what, you and I talk about quite a bit in our daily life is the fact that there are so many people making decisions and going through things that, some of it we go, oh, that's wonderful. Some would go, wow, that's really challenging. But the same as our journeys, like, we've made decisions in the decades we've both been here of some things may be more positive, some things may seem not so positive, but allowing the soul to do what they need to do to have their experience and their learning that while they're here is what I hear you saying. And also the fact that, for me to interfere with someone's journey, that's not what I'm here to do. I mean, I'm here to just really love back and support, just like Spirit, and to be very respectful when someone else is going through something and not interfere with, okay, unless, like you said, unless they ask for support, that's totally different. But when they don't, it's like, okay, from a distance, I will love back and support you.
Yeah. And it's very important to be clean and clear with my energy. And, our whole reason for being here is to unfold our awareness so that we can just heal some of the confusion we have. There's a lot of truth in, religion. There's a lot of truth in science, but not one thing has all the truth. But it's through self-discovery, through unfolding my inner wisdom and that connection with Spirit, because as I love to say, the universe is actually a very benevolent place. It's just that we need to turn into that bigger picture of that feeling of one with all and working with the teamwork that's available to us. And then we grow faster.
Yeah, I think that's the exciting part and what makes me so enthusiastic, I'll say, to share with others is the fact that within each of us, we've got so many amazing gifts and so many amazing abilities to support whatever we want to do. And, if someone decides to tap out whenever they're in their 40s or, go to their 140, whatever it is, to love back and support that and to have really no judgment around the soul of what they want to do and the lessons and the learnings they've come to experience.
And their free will.
Absolutely, their free will. And knowing that every person on the planet, I'm talking everybody, has a team of personal support. So whether or not they're out there doing things that are positive or not so positive, and whether or not they're close to us or they're further away from our inner circle, it's just another opportunity for all of us to just go, you know what? They've got their personal backing, their soul, and they're having their experience.
Yeah, and realize that, if I recognize patterns of energy or situations and I go, oh boy, I can see where that's going to lead, it's pretty clear to me. And, they're consistent at showing us that they keep going in those directions. Um, Realize that I've uncovered that, like I become aware of that, you might say, through lifetimes, that I began to recognize patterns of energy. So everybody's here to learn and grow. And, we're all at different stages. And as a higher soul, most of us feel like we really want to be of service. We want to be, we love the fulfillment of being a part of that loving, positive vibration. And we also love the fulfillment of, standing on our own 2 feet and rising up to the challenge and expanding our, inner capability as well as, our outer kind of manifestation of that capability. So really patience while others learn and grow is one of the keys. And recognize that I've done that over a period of lifetimes.
And maybe someone else hasn't. And so maybe it's their opportunity this lifetime to have that experience.
Yeah, and often, we're all unique. No one's exactly like each of us because we all have different experience. And there's certain areas that, like with your father, I'm sure he was very masterful in certain areas. And then there were other areas where he was learning and growing. And same for me, same for you, same for all our pals. And, that helps me because often, in society, I notice that we look to, say, the leaders or somebody who's really smart in some particular area and think they're an oracle about every aspect of life. But really, they're just really good at that one or two areas. And it's up to me to tune into my inner wisdom when it comes to my life's direction and purpose. And frankly, we're all kind of inspired once I know that once I realized, oh, I have my own purpose, I have my own direction, and my path might not include some of the challenges that other people have chosen because I may have already been through some of those challenges or I'm not ready for those challenges.
I totally agree with you, Tom.
I love it when you agree with me.
So, hey, Tom, will you help save me?
No.
Want to ask me?
Teresa, will you save me?
Hells no. We exist in a highly intellectual world, and often the feeling part where your inner wisdom lies gets left out. There's a way to feel more in balance with all parts of yourself. This way is by accessing a spiritual bigger picture of who you are as a soul. Check out the link in the show notes to access a free video series created by the Wayshowers College to support your journey and moving through this game of life. Your intellect and feeling parts will love it.
You don't need any saving.
Don't need any saving. So on that note, I think we'll end this mini morsel episode and just wanted to share a little bit about the vibration of wanting to save others. Some inspiring insights from the Soul Quake Survival Guide. If you have not gotten your copy, it's on Amazon.com and it's in Audible. So you can listen to me how many hours, quite a few hours, to read the book. You can do ebook or also get a copy and you can hold in your hands, which I love the copy in my hands.
You know what I love about that book?
What do you love about the book, Tom?
Teresa has these, life experiences where you can really see she gains something from sometimes what we would consider the emotional challenges, but also found an even keel by tuning into her thrust for this lifetime and working with her guidance to see the meaning behind her life's journey.
Well, that's interesting you say that because,
I got chills on that.
Do you? That's really good, Tom. That's a good sign, everyone. If you get chills, that's a good sign from spirit. The interesting part about the book is whenever I shared little tidbits of, things that have happened throughout my life, and I've regrouped it now. So like I went through the experience and then had, obviously a while before I was able to understand spiritually what I was going through. And then being able to regroup that and go, oh, this is again, maybe the eagle medicine is what supported me that night when I was having the out of body experience at 24 and had no idea what was going on. And many of the other things that I share in the book. So it's an inspiring way to really recognize too that this is all normal. Like it's not, mystical, magical, weird. It's really, I mean, people have all kinds of experiences every day, and then recognizing, oh, well, Teresa had that experience, and I had this experience, and oh, I can regroup what I learned from that experience.
Yeah, rather than focus on the sensational aspect of it, you go, oh, okay, that's why, I have a greater awareness now. I feel more relaxed about that situation.
Absolutely.
I feel more happy and free and fulfilled.
I like that feeling, Tom.
Well, I think it's time to wrap up.
Okay, so thanks again for listening in to another episode of Enthusiastically Spiritual. We appreciate you very, very much. And until next week, just remember that life is too short to not be enthusiastic about your unique journey. To keep the enthusiasm going, please like, subscribe, or comment below. We would love to hear from you.